Of course, the president went even further. He then said that for this reason, many African Americans and, of course, many Americans believe that had Trayvon Martin been the person that committed the act, had he been the one killing in the name of self-defense, that the trial would have been much harsher and less lenient.
And that all contributes, I think, to a sense that if a white male teen was involved in the same kind of scenario, that from top to bottom, both the outcome and the aftermath might have been different.
The president spoke about 3 different kinds of policy solutions. He said he's not naive enough to think that some massive new federal program will be the appropriate response to the endemic problem of racial profiling, racial tension, and of course crime and violence disproportionately committed by and against young African American men. He did, however, outline 3 perhaps more modest policy solutions. First, he spoke about working with state and local law enforcement on a federal level with federal oversight to make sure that they are using the kinds of practices that are most effective and most sensitive to the needs of people of color in their communities. Second, he talked about the issue of stand your ground laws. He said that the idea that if you think that you have a suspicion that you're under threat, and as a result believe that you have the right to use fatal force may be questionable. And the specific case he used, once again, was to put the shoe on the other foot. If Trayvon Martin had invoked stand your ground, even in some fashion, though we know that George Zimmerman did not exactly use that defense, though initially that's why he was not arrested, then perhaps things would be looked at differently. Here's how the president put that.
And for those who resist that idea that we should think about something like these stand your ground laws, I just ask people to consider, if Trayvon Martin was of age and armed, could he have stood his ground on that sidewalk?
And the president, of course, the third solution he proposed was working with communities to make sure that young African American men know that they are valued by American society. Of course, the president was not alone in thinking that there were hints of racial bias in this case, particularly, of course, the parents of Trayvon Martin, Tracy Martin and Sabrina Fulton. Tracy Martin, Trayvon Martin's father, of course, was saved personally by Trayvon Martin from a fire when Trayvon was 9 years old. Tracy said that had Trayvon been white, this never would have happened.
I think that if Trayvon had been white, this wouldn't have never happened.
Sabrina Fulton, Trayvon Martin's mother, said that she was shocked by the jury's verdict and had hoped that the jury could have at least looked at the situation through Trayvon's eyes. But she then concluded that apparently they did not.
When I heard the verdict, I kind of understand the disconnect, and that maybe they didn't see Trayvon as their son. They didn't see Trayvon as a teenager. They didn't see Trayvon as just a human being that was minding his own business.